We stand with the Venezuelan people in their noble quest for freedom, and we condemn the brutality of the Maduro regime, whose socialist policies have turned that nation from being the wealthiest in South America into a state of abject poverty and despair.
That was President Trump condemning Venezuela's socialist dictator, Nicolas Maduro. Breaking news coming in, new details emerging about that brutal crackdown that took place on January 24th, the day after mass protests against Nicolas Maduro. Now, Maduro sent in his SWAT teams, and according to Reuters, in just one barrio in one poor section of Caracas, 10 people were quickly slaughtered, brutally shot in the chest. They were handcuffed to steering wheels in cars and then shot. They pulled a 23-year-old mother from a house, a 23-year-old mom, and they shot her dead in the street in front of her family. They sprayed gunfire at a church. Now, about 43 people are now dead. That death count is now rising, and more than 900 imprisoned. The White House announcing today that the president will meet with the president of Colombia next week about Venezuela. Let's bring in National Security Institute senior fellow Lester Munson and Fox News contributor, retired Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. First to you, Lester. Gorbachev never shot at his own people. Neither did Erich Honecker of Germany or Marcos of the Philippines. Where is the outrage on the left about Maduro shooting his own people in socialist Venezuela?
Well, you know, it's a great question, and I think President Trump has done a very good job on diplomacy and pressure on this regime in Caracas, which is clearly losing control of the country. There are sensible Democrats who support what the president is doing. They know it's a good policy. I think they're just afraid to say so in public because their party is united behind the concept of resisting everything President Trump does, unfortunately, even if it's a good thing, as the case here in Venezuela.
It's an important point you just made. Colonel, Maduro's military now blocking food and aid coming in from Colombia. Hundreds of thousands could starve. That's the warning from interim President Guaido. Your take on that?
Well, this is exactly the same thing that we saw over in Somalia with a warlord by the name of Mohammed Farah Aidid, trying to control the access of food and sustenance to people so that they would become dependent upon him and he would maintain power. And that is the exact same thing you see happening in Venezuela. You have a socialist dictator, and he is not concerned about the people. If anything, he's going to take those food resources and make sure that it goes to his cronies, especially the people in the military, so that he can keep them on his side. That's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, and Lester, to the Colonel's point, the Trump administration is now suffocating the oil sector in Venezuela. That's what, you know, Nicolas Maduro needs to pay the military to keep them happy. Here's what former Venezuela Mayor Ramon Muchacho said about exactly what Maduro's death squads are doing, shooting teenagers and children as young as 12. I'd like your reaction after the bite. Watch.
Maduro's regime's police, it's going through after people and not only imprisoning and torturing them, but also killing them. And they're even killing minors as young as 12 years, as you say. That's going on in Venezuela right now.
Your reaction quickly?
Yeah, things are going very badly in Venezuela. They're going so badly that other Latin American countries, through the Lima Group, which is about 10 countries here in the Western Hemisphere, are united with the Trump administration in taking a hard line against the Maduro regime. That's a rare thing. It's rare to see Latin American countries side with the United States against a fellow Latin American country, and that's very significant.
Colonel West, you got 10 seconds. Vladimir Putin not showing any public support for Nicolas Maduro, and Russian officials are saying Maduro is losing his grip. His support is fading. Things could turn. That's from Russia, Colonel.
That's very important because as you have that patronage stripped away from him, Maduro becomes isolated.